Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here. Hello, everyone. How you guys all doing? I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to another episode of the Viewpoint, or Reganelite's Viewpoint, as I like to call it. Episode 120. 120 episodes of this series. Wow, 120. Quite unbelievable, guys, that I have done this series. And I have done 120 live streams of it. Quite incredible. But here we are. 80 more to go till we get to 200. So pretty awesome. Hope you guys are all doing well. Thank you guys for all popping in today. It's greatly appreciated. We have quite a few things to cover today. I will touch on. I'm going to be touching on one story that we did talk about this morning as well, because not everybody who is here tonight is always here in the Good Morning Show. So I want to make sure that some people don't miss out as well. But just a quick reminder that we have got 6 stories to cover. All of them are in linked in the description. Got 2 funny videos also linked in the description, just so you know if you want to check them out yourselves. I do have some videos from X I want to do, so we are going to look at a couple of videos on X as well as part of one story as well. Jao, good to see you there. Oh, I didn't see Jao, good to see you there, one of our moderators. Hope you're doing well. Pete's Music as well, person impersonator, and anybody else who may be lurking in the chats. Oh, that's right, I'm losing my train of thought. So, obviously, for those who are members, we'll see that there are short videos already available for the next couple of days. So, if you're a top-tier YouTube member, you can get access to those short videos right now. Like someone else said that someone became a member, and I can't see the screen because it won't show me who it was. So, you can get access to them now. But also, guys, the Rumble and Patreon videos, the free videos that are going to be up, pretty much have been recorded and they've been uploaded. They're ready to drop every single day. 12 o'clock, Patreon and on Rumble for free to watch on those platforms Monday and Friday. So there's a video dropping on every single day for them. So do check them out, guys. Links for both those platforms are in the description. Steam Banker, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. And my T-Von Eric as well. And I think I've covered everyone, I think. Yeah, I believe I've covered everyone. Pete's Music, I'm pretty sure I said hello to you already, Pete's Music. If I didn't, I'd apologise. And Kevin Grant, good to see you there. I hope you are doing well. Right, so let's start with this story. This is obviously the story that's really been talking about mainly today, guys. It's from the BBC that resources will be found to police the Maccabi Tel Aviv game. So what is this about, guys? So this particular football club, and I think you can tell by the name of it, is obviously one from Israel. And they're like, I'm just going to come out and say this, guys. From a political perspective, Israeli football clubs should be banned from FIFA and UEFA because of political differences and what's been going on over in the country and how it's been treating Palestinians within the Gaza Strip. From that point of view, they shouldn't even be playing football at all under FIFA or UEFA, because they have done that with Russia, but they won't do it for some reason with Israel, which is ridiculous. So from that perspective there. Now, there is a game coming up next month in November between Maccabi Tel Aviv and Aston Villa, and it is to take place at Villa Park. Now, what's the problem here, Regan? Well, the problem isn't about... The problem here that I have is not that they are an Israeli football club, believe it or not. The problem that I have is that their fans are hooligans. They are violent and they are troublemakers. That is what they are. Like many other football clubs that have their fair share of hooliganism and troublemakers. That is what a majority is found for these football fans to have, especially when they come on the away games. And we're going to hear from some of the MPs. I'm going to take this off for now because I need this to keep myself nice and warm. Good evening, Dave McGuinness. That background will lose you, your Scottish viewers. Good evening to you too, Dave McGuinness. Yeah, well, I appreciate the comment. My opinion is that the Middle East countries have no business in European contests or sports events. No, they're not. They're not. They're not indeed. You know, I've had that background for a while now, David. You do know that, right? Right. I want to switch to this anyway because I want to show you this. So So Lisa Andy, obviously, who was speaking about this, was saying that they're not trying to overturn the police's advice. So the police have advised and have said to Aston Villa, let me just switch to the right screen here. Right, they have said, the police have basically said we should not have this game go ahead for the safety of fans, for the safety of Aston Villa supporters, for the safety of stewardess. This game should not go ahead here. This is on the advice of the police. Yeah, this is not political or politician or passe. This is the police who are basically saying, in terms of the well-being of football fans here, they're saying they should not be this. Well, there's Lisa Andy here saying, we're not trying to overturn the police on the left here. And on the right here, she's saying the government has intervened because the police decision is the wrong decision. It cannot stand.
Have led to the wrong decision and cannot stand. She says that we're trying to overturn the police advice. We're doing absolutely no such thing. The reason that the government has intervened in this case is because the decision that they've come to has wider implications that we believe have led to the wrong decision and cannot stand.
No, that's not true at all. Okay, in this situation, there is nothing. I really want to make this clear, right? I do not believe that the police made this decision based on the fact that they are from Israel. I generally believe that the decision has been made because these fans have a record, a history of causing violence and chaos in cities that they have played football games in, where they have travelled to. And Amsterdam is a prime example of that. And I generally believe that. I don't think it is to do with the fact that this is being played in Birmingham, which is obviously quite a large population. If Birmingham does have a Muslim population in there, and Israelis obviously coming here would be problematic. I don't think that's the reason, but obviously the police haven't been, I don't think, but that wasn't put in the police report with regards to this here. So we're going to hear from a couple of different MPs on this matter that came out today here. So first of all, 30p Flea from Reform Russia here, speaking about the decision here as well.
Last year, the Chief Constable of the West Midlands Police Force said he told Muslim elders that he would always police without fear or favour and he would not tolerate any sort of racism. But the banning of Maccabi fans is quite clearly racism. So does the Secretary of State agree with me that if the police chiefs cannot police a football match, they should no longer be in office?
I don't think it's helpful to question people's motives. In the work that we've done with the West Midlands Police, I have no hesitation in saying that they have done an assessment of the risks, as is their responsibility. What happens next is not just a question for the West Midlands Police, it's a question for all of us. And the reason that the government has intervened in this case is because the police doing their job to assess the safety and the risks that are posed across the board, the decision that they've come to has wider implications that we believe have led to the wrong decision and cannot stand. But I don't question the motives of the police in this for a moment. I think our job is to work with them and support them to be able to police this match in a way that ensures that people can attend and they can attend safely.
That's not what this is about. I'll tell you what the government's position is about on all of this, okay? Yeah, the government's position, and I'm just going to call it out right for what it bloody is, right? The reason the government are doing this is they are trying to appeal to Israel. They are trying to appeal to Israel because they know they're not on the good side of Israel and they're trying to appeal to them. This is generally what my general consensus is. This is not about the health and safety. The government are claiming this. The government are looking at this from a perspective of how can we please Israel after standing by, after what we've been doing? What can we do to keep our Israeli overlords happy here? You know, let's cause something that will cause damage. There is a very high probability if the fans are allowed to attend this match, we could have potentially fatal consequences here. People's lives could be at serious risk here. That's the dangers that we are facing here if this is allowed to happen. And I generally believe that the government is putting its loyalty to Israel over the health and safety of football fans, of citizens in Birmingham, is putting their lives at risk just to appease Israel. I generally believe that's the case. I don't think the government are doing this on the basis of, oh, well, these fans aren't too bad. No, as was pointed out in the chat, I believe by Simon Says 55, saying that was it Simon Says 55? These fans have a long record. Sorry, person A said it. Sorry, thank you. These fans have a long record of trouble, and they do. And Amsterdam is one of many examples of where they have caused trouble. There is and the argument has been made on Twitter about several other football clubs in Europe. West Ham, a couple of other West Ham have had a history of causing trouble in the past, but it doesn't mean that all West Ham fans have been the case. There was a couple of European clubs that have been named as well, where they have known to have trouble in the past, and their fans have been banned from attending away games because of trouble that they have caused here. And this is the argument case here of not allowing them to come on this. I guess a question that I should be asking is how do the players and the club itself feel about this situation? Because Aston Villa Football Club are in a political storm that they don't want to be in any way, shape, or form. But they are going to be at the heart of this, and they should be the ones to decide who to allow at to this game and who to not allow at this game. And the police say they shouldn't have them. They shouldn't have these fans. But the government wants to change that, and that's putting. And I think, the club should basically tell the government to essentially f off, and say no, it's our football club. We decide who we want in our stadium. You don't make that decision. Remember, Aston Villa is privately owned. It's not state owned or anything or such. The club can turn around and just tell the government to stuff it. Even if the government tries to change the police's position, the football club should simply just come out and say, look, we think it's better that they don't come, and we're not going to move our position, and the government should just move on from this subject. Jeremy Corbyn speaking on it as well.
The authorities in Birmingham took account of the behaviour of Maccabi Haifa fans in many other occasions and many other places, decided it was unsafe for the match to be played in Birmingham. It is absolutely not about banning Jewish or any other people from going to the match or going to Birmingham. Can we separate the two issues about the behaviour of a group of fans from the wider question where everybody, Jewish, Muslim or anything else, must be safe to walk the streets of this country?
This is a really important point here, and this is, obviously Lisa Andy's going to dodge the proper answer of this, but this is what I generally believe what this is about. And I think if this was any other football club from a different country, barring Russia, you would not have this topic. We would not have these conversations. We would not be making a big deal about this. But because it's from Israel, it's obviously a bigger deal.
On his last statement, that everybody must be safe to walk the streets of this country, I agree with him, and I would just say perhaps if he wanted to turn to his left and right, he might make that point to the people that he now associates with, because that is not what we've heard from them over the last few weeks. And look, can I just clear this up, because I've heard a lot of hot takes on social media about the evidence on which the police rely to come to this decision. It is absolutely right to say that the police, as you would expect, took into account in particular the game in Amsterdam, at which Maccabi Tel Aviv fans were present and where a small element caused the most appalling disorder. But
that's not what I heard. I heard they were large elements of it.
It also took into account the very real risks presented to Maccabi Tel Aviv fans on the basis that Maccabi Tel Aviv is an Israeli team and on the basis that many of the fans attending are Jewish. And I would just hope that he would be as exercised about that as he is about the behaviour of those fans.
You want to bring Israeli fans, those kind of fans, to Birmingham, which is a Muslim majority, to an Aston Villa game. What could possibly go wrong, Lisa? And you're just saying, oh no, the police can handle it. I'm telling you now, the police will not handle this. The police will have to go over the top with security. Okay, if the government forced the hands, right, and forced the fans to attend, right. If they force this, right, I'll tell you what's going to happen. You're going to have chaos. You're going to have fans attacking fans. You're going to have vandalism. You are going to have police officers harmed. And you're going to have a big bill for the taxpayer to be picking up at the cost of all this as well. Because I tell you what, Israel will not be picking up the tab. And Israel will literally say, oh, it's their fans that started it. It's because, because Birmingham is a Muslim-controlled area, they're the ones who started this. That's where Israel will come on all of this. Galatasaray fans would get banned. Exactly. They are Galatasaray, yes, the Turkish football club. They've had a history as well.
On intelligence, believe Maccabi team fans shouldn't be allowed to attend the match for public safety reasons, and their record of hooliganism will have contributed to that. Bans like this have happened with other teams' fans across Europe. In this case, there's been a dangerous push to again claim that any criticism of Israel is anti-Semitic. Shouldn't the government just admit that on this it's got it badly wrong and let the police do their job without political interference? Because surely the real issue here is the right of local people to be kept safe.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hear Lisa Andy's comments on here. Now I think I've actually got it from, oh no, I don't have it here. I think this is the most powerful one here because this really speaks to the volume of just what we could expect. Yeah, so when remember what Lisa and Andy has been saying up to this point here, okay? But Brian Lichman here really gets some hard evidence here.
Dutch police report into the disorder in Amsterdam at the Ajax versus Maccabi Tel Aviv fixture determined that Maccabi fans tore down a Palestinian flag, set fire to it, and chanted, and I quote, "Fuck you, Palestine." That is vile, disgusting Islamophobia in action. How about preventing that from happening here? Because there is an extreme hooligan element of Maccabi fans that consistently behave in this manner. Does the government not see that Islamophobic behaviour is highly likely if these fans travel to Birmingham? What about the safety of our Muslim citizens?
Thank you. I mean, look, everybody in this House is entitled to strong opinions, but then
they're not opinions. That was just facts. You've just been put facts in front of you showing of just how vile some of the extreme fans are of this club. And you still want to allow them to come to the UK, to Birmingham. You really want that? Just so you can suck up to your Israeli masters.
Not entitled to a selective version of the facts. And
it's not, it's not selective. It's not selective. We know exactly how many Israelis feel about Palestinians. You're making this a political football, is what you're doing here. The government is making this a political football, which they should not be doing. And and Aston Villa Football Club are in the middle of this, and they have to put up with this crap. And it's not fair on them. It's not fair on the footballers because they won't be able to concentrate on the football because they'll be hearing this shit all the goddamn time. It's not fair on the coach. It's not fair on the manager. Like, I'm not a football fan personally, but it's not fair on the club because they all have all this distracting them as well. This is completely unhelpful to them as well. Not even going to hear the rest of what Lee Sandy had to say on there. Now, Zara Sultana here, I thought was a tad bit extreme, maybe, but maybe some people will disagree in the comments. But let me hear hers before we go to the piece.
Clearly stated that Maccabi Tel Aviv football team is inextricably linked to the Israeli state, which is an apartheid state. The boycott of apartheid regimes, such as apartheid South Africa, is a legitimate political stance. To label such a position as anti-Semitic, as the Secretary of State did, is entirely false and dangerous. And the way the Secretary of State has referred to me and my colleagues is also laced with Islamophobia.
Order, Ms. Sultana. I do not have to repeat myself more than once. This is a continuation of the debate. The statement, the UQ, forgive me, has concluded.
Absolutely outrageous, Speaker. Now, look, I get how Zara Sultana feels about this. Okay, I really do. And obviously the Speaker there was not helpful in the position here. But this it's absolutely ridiculous that the government is making this story in the first place. I just think it's wrong for the government to be making this position at all. I really do. I think the government are making a mistake, as many politicians in there are. I think the only reason that they are doing this is to appeal to their Israeli masters, to their Israeli lobbyists in this. But what they don't see is there is even one person. Some of the other MPs have said one person compared this as a Hillsborough disaster incoming if this was allowed to, if the fans were allowed to attend. And I think that if they were to, and I generally think that it would leave a very big scar on the Labour government if it was to go that far. I've seen reports that some stewardess at Aston Villa Football Club have said that they will not stewardess this match if the fans are allowed to attend this game, if the away fans are allowed to attend this game as well. I've been told as well. Is there anything more I need to add into this? Like, not really. I mean, they've burnt Palestine. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I need to add any more what I need to add about this. But but it's just adding more fuel to the fire that doesn't need to be. The link is in the description if you want to read the article. I don't think I want to read from it if I'm personally honest, because I think I don't really know what more to add than what I've already said with regards to it, you guys. But let me have a read, see what you guys are saying in the comments about on this. Portuguese are also banned. I remember a guy that Portuguese are also banned from watching games. I remember a guy that accidentally killed another fan with a flare, and he got jail time for involuntary manslaughter and a permanent ban from attending sport events. This happened a couple of years ago. If she believes that she should shoulder 100% of the responsibility if things go awry. But the thing is, we don't want it shouldn't have to come to a point where there's loss of life and damage and permanent scars on people for them to realise, oh, we shouldn't have allowed this match to go ahead. When everybody's screaming, don't fucking do this. You know, why does it have to take lives to be lost or serious harm to be done for politicians to realise, actually, maybe this isn't a good idea? That's the thing that angers me the most. You know, it takes people dying for politicians to realise, oh, maybe we should do something about this. Is it hard to do what other European countries do and ban individual people from entering the country? Also have German, Spanish fans that can't attend games here. If folks rioted and attack people at music events, how long will it take before they shut them down? Exactly. I think all British fans should boycott the game. I don't think it's no. I don't think no. It's not right that Aston Villa fans should have to boycott the game. It's not right that British fans should have to boycott the game. If they are forced, Aston Villa, to say they have to have this game, you know, from a perspective of, like, here's a question. I don't know what I honestly don't know what Aston Villa players and the fans and the players, the coaches and whatnot are thinking. But they should, from a safety point of view, for the safety and well-being of the fans and everybody in that community, if they are forced to say you have to have those fans at that game, they should say, no, we're not playing the game. We're not going to have the match. And they should boycott and say that. But then what will happen is that the club will get, is that Tel Aviv will get an automatic buy-through in doing so, though. According to the 21 census, approximately 29.9% of Birmingham's population is Muslim, which is about 341,811 residents. Yeah, that's a huge amount of that's a significant population there. Israeli fans got beaten up here for being idols, for being idiots and not by Muslims, says Jal. Yeah. I also think Aston Villa fans should watch the game but refuse to attend it with those Israeli fans watching it. That Aston Villa will be fully aware of things that this club is doing. I'm sorry I couldn't attend to do Davy Show at 4 o'clock. I had work to do there. Doc Davis says, I'm a Villa fan and I thought it was the right decision to ban the fans regardless of race and religion. I'm basing it based on their hooliganism more than anything here. But I also think the fact that that this match is taking place in Birmingham, I just think it's very dangerous. It's also just, I just feel it's adding political fuel to the fire that is not helpful, you know. The match shouldn't even be happening. They shouldn't even be playing football. They should be banned from Europe because of They should be banned from in UEFA. This match should not be happening. This football club, all Israeli football clubs, all Israeli sports, they should not be allowed to attend any international European games at all. They shouldn't be allowed to. You know, I think UEFA and FIFA have to take responsibility if something happens here as well. It's not just the government, but UEFA and FIFA, because they're the ones who have not even banned the football clubs from it. And they've done it with Russia, but they haven't done it with Israel here. Anyways, we're going to be keeping going on and on about it, guys. So let's move on. We're only given 25 minutes of our time to it. So here's a story that's quite interesting. So a Tory MP has been criticised after demanding that illegally settled families are being deported. Kate Liam said she would make UK culturally coherent and that a large number of people need to go home. This is, I'm just going to call it what it is. This is fucking disgusting. This is disgusting coming from an elected politician. And it's bad enough that we have Reform Russia politicians saying the kind of language that come out of their mouths. But and we know that the Conservatives are desperately trying to replicate Reform Russia and that the language and the rhetoric that they're saying. And this is kind of going along with it here. But what she's implying here is that Britons here who have Britons here, people here who have come here, who have worked, who have contributed, paid their taxes, done their fair share, who have been born and raised here, some of them, who have contributed to our society, who love Britain, who are proud to be British, proud to even wave the flag. Yeah, some of these people. What Katie is basically saying is that you don't belong here. You should go back to your own country, despite the fact that you weren't. Despite the fact that you were born and raised in this country. This is racism. This is racism. And I'm glad that the Guardian covered this story, because a lot of the mainstream media are not talking about the story because they're obviously covering other stories. But this is extremely scary. And this kind of language should not be normalized. But they're trying to normalize it. And this is the thing that really scares. There should be outrage over this. This MP should be sacked for making such comments here. She should be sacked for these comments. Because this is inhumane. This is inhumane. Legally settled families we're talking about. Not illegal, but legally settled families. So a Conservative MP tipped as a future party leader has been condemned for saying large numbers of legally settled families must be deported in order to ensure that the UK mostly coherent, culturally coherent. And what the hell does this mean? Culturally coherent. What does this mean, guys? What does this exactly mean? Does this mean what? Oh, they have to be guys, a certain skin color, or they have to speak in a certain accent. Yeah, a certain accent. Is that what it is as well? You got to talk a certain accent as well. Do you have to talk a bit posh as well? Is that it as well? Or do you have to talk a bit Scouser if you're living up in Liverpool? Like, what is this? What does this mean? Should I ask Grok? Should I just turn off my chat and just ask Grok what does culturally coherent mean? I don't even know if Grok will know the answer to that. The Tory leader, Kemi Badenoch, has been urged to condemn the comments by Kate Liam, a former Home Office shadow minister and now whip for the party. Liam was previously a special advisor to Boris Johnson. He has a lot of women around him, Boris Johnson, when he was Prime Minister, doesn't he? Just saying. And he's often described as the rising star of the new intake. So Liam told the Sunday Times that she believed a large number of people with legal status in the UK would need to have their right to stay revoked and should go home. But go home where? Go home where? She said there are also a large number of people in this country who came here legally, but in effect shouldn't have been able to do so. So it's not a fault of the individual who came here. They just shouldn't have been able to do so. They will also need to go home. What that will leave is mostly, but not entirely, culturally coherent group of people. That's not... Like, do I really have to apply common sense here? Yeah? So what she's basically saying, the fault of past governments who allowed people to legally come and settle here, they should be told that no fault of their own, despite the fact that they came to the UK legally, they should be told you should bugger off back to your country. Even though they have done nothing wrong and they followed all the rules, followed all the procedures, signed all necessary documents and all that kind of stuff. Even though they followed everything to the T, guys, yeah? They should be told to go back to their country. Do you have any idea how insane that sounds? This is insane. This is outrageous. This is outrageous. That's what this is. This is outrageous. How can someone like her be a politician? Never mind an MP. How is this woman even a politician for saying stuff like this? It's so inhumane and vile. It's extremely vile. Like, you hear sometimes you, like, I don't even know if Republicans say this kind of stuff. Like, I don't know if Republicans say this kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure if a Republican was saying this kind of stuff out in public, pretty sure Vosh would have covered it. But I haven't heard him say it. Or one of the other American YouTubers that I tend to listen to. But I feel like this is more extreme. I feel like this kind of language from her is even more extreme than Republicans in the US. Like, that's how crazy this is. In a letter to Baganout, the Lib Dem leader, Ed Davey, called it deeply concerning and unpatriotic. Yep. People who have come to the UK illegally, played by the rules and made it their home, do not need to go home. This is their home. Yes. David said the Liam's suggestion of removing thousands of people who were here in the UK legally shows just how far your party has moved away from fundamental values and decency, tolerance and respect for the rule of law that the vast majority of people in our country hold dear. Exactly. 100% agree. Liberal Democrats said the Conservatives should urgently clarify if Liam reflects the party's position and whom the party believes shouldn't have been able to come to the UK illegally. Yeah, the Conservatives really should make a position very, very clear on this. But either way, whatever decision they make, whether they choose to stand by her comments or not stand by her comments, still doesn't change the fact that it makes the Conservatives look really, really bad. What does a mostly but not entirely culturally coherent group of people mean? And how would this be set out in the Conservative Party's immigration rules, the letter asks. The position is similar to Reform UK, which it said it would scrap indefinite leave to remain, and that migrants would need to reapply for 5-year visas that would be granted to those with higher earnings. Labour also intends to reform ILR. They will make it available to those who have been in the UK for 10 years who can prove that they have made a contribution to UK society, such as through volunteer work. This is a very, very vile woman with language like this. This is extremely dangerous. It's extremely dangerous. Like, again, it's bad enough this language comes from Reform Russia, but we're getting it from a conservative here as well. Good morning, Stephen Moran on the other side of the world. Hope you are doing well, my friend. Might appeal to the flag shaggers, says Doc Davis. Yeah, it might do. These people should stop marrying their cousins to keep their land and wealth in the family. Inbreeding is a terrible thing. Russell Cannon says she's trying to jump into Farage's shoes. She said 600,000 people need to go, which is way more than just asylum seekers. Yeah. It seems like how can I out Farage and out Kemi on this? I know I'm going to say even more extreme things because that will appeal to the Reform voters who have already made their mind up that they're not prepared to vote Conservative because the Conservatives screwed their lives over, and they're still not sorry for screwing people's lives over after 14 years. Once again, I'm sure what Cam Liam has said is against the ministerial code. Probably is against the ministerial code, but is anyone going to do anything about it? I don't know. So for those who weren't here this morning, in particular, we covered this video, and we're going to play this video because it's worth listening to again for those who weren't here on the Good Morning Show. So Reform have suspended 4 councillors after the Guardian published a leaked video of the fierce infighting. So members of Reform Showcase County Council will be investigated after evidence that they brought the party into disrepute. I mean, the language here kind of speaks for itself. So, but though, obviously those who were here on the Good Morning Show would have heard this already, but I wanted to play this again because I do think it's important for people to understand. So this is obviously Reform's Reform councillors here having a very important meeting about some of the upcoming decisions that they're going to have to make. Their councillors are going to have to make very important decisions to make. Just kind of listen to the language and judge it for yourself, really, the kind of language that you're going to be getting from these people.
Paul, I'm going to mute you in a minute. You're just going to have to fucking suck it up, okay? It's then my job as leader to appoint a cabinet, which I've done. And the way the Constitution works, it is the leader and the cabinet who make the big decisions.
I didn't know Kent councillors had a constitution, but there we go, guys.
Now, because I'm not a dictator or an autocrat, I like feedback. I like to discuss. I like to hear what everybody thinks. However, when it comes to making the really big decisions, and I'm afraid LGR is one of those really big decisions, sometimes I will make a decision that might not be liked by everybody in the group. But I'm afraid you're just going to have to fucking suck it up, okay? Because I am the democratically elected leader. And on LGR, I've made a decision that, and it's Brian's responsibility, and it's a massive responsibility sitting on his shoulders right now, to try and come up with these savings to make the books balance. If we can avoid putting up council tax by the full 5%, that is going to be the best thing that we can do to show that reform can actually run something as big as Kent County Council. Because let's not forget, we are the shop window in KCC. People are looking at us, they're judging us every single day, every single minute of every single day. Nigel knows that. He is super aware that we are the flagship council.
Proposal is that's going forward, then quite frankly, the question is that the right leader and the right cabinet? Because we as backbenchers need to understand what we're getting behind. I'm not asking...
There physically isn't time at this stage. So what we've done...
I'm not asking you to run through everything. I'm just asking you...
Well, you are. That's exactly what you're asking me to do.
No. I don't know whether or not you're intentionally sort of picking things up. Or the problem is, it's easier when it's face-to-face. Right,
of course it's easier when it's face-to-face.
Right.
I'm going to be on bloody holiday this week,
right.
Paul.
Okay,
I don't want to be having this meeting.
Right. What?
I live in Kent. Well, on the edge of Kent, in between Kent and London, to be fair. These are the kinds of people that will be running the government if Reform Russia get into power. This is the kind of people we're going to be getting, guys. A bunch of random people. And notice how I notice there's not much diversity in this group here as well. I mean, men and women, yes, but I'm not noticing anybody else from other different backgrounds here. But like, here's the thing. Okay, before I play the rest of it, okay? I'm not a politician. I'm not a councillor. I don't know what it's like for anyone to be a councillor, and I'm sure it could be very difficult. It could be a very stressful job, right? Any kind of work in politics or council work or whatever is extremely difficult. It's very challenging because you have people on your case all the time. All the time. It's not an easy job. I'm sure it's not. I don't know what it's like because I've never been in those shoes, right? However, also, there's a way to talk to people and the kind of language that you're using at this meeting, regardless of whether or not are supposed to be on a holiday or that you didn't want to be here or whatever your reasons, right? There is a way to talk to people, and this is kind of language that she is using as supposedly being like the big leader in charge of all this. It's not helpful in any way, shape or form. And I generally love the fact that this got leaked. And what's more, they still don't know who the leaker is. They are Reform Russia are absolutely furious that this has been leaked. And it does make me wonder how many meetings like this have been happening as well. And remember, voters don't realise just how dumb these people are. They really, really don't.
The proposal is that you're putting forward. That's all I'm asking for.
And my reply to that is...
we'll be briefed as it goes. Yeah.
Paul, I'm going to mute you in a minute. Let me reply. We're running out of time.
It's all right, Brian. You keep laughing your head off, mate.
In the committee meeting, Paul, I'm going to mute you so I can just speak.
Let's face it, the situation at the moment regards our group is not great. You know, I've worked my arse off in my own portfolio and I'm still getting a rod up my backside all the time. And, you know, and as what Bob has already stated, that there is a lot of backbiting going on and that tends to be coming from the top down.
Remember, this is what we're going to get. This is what we're going to get if we have reform councillors running things. This is the kind of crap we're going to be dealing with here. I really hope that Plaid Cymru are going to take this footage and show it to... I hope Plaid Cymru in Wales decide to start showing this footage to voters who are thinking of voting for Reform Russia in Wales, and saying this is the kind of people who are going to be running your councils. How do you feel about that? You should take this. What you should do, what you should be doing, all the political parties should be taking this video and showing it to constituents who are thinking of voting reform and saying, this is what you're going to get if you vote for these people. This is what you're going to get, yeah? This is their first power in charge of a council here, and this is how they behave. This is how they talk to each other. This is what you're going to... This is the kind of people you're going to be getting running your council if you vote for Reform Russia. How does that make you feel? So Reform Russia has suspended 4 councillors on its Showcase County Council after a leaked video showing bitter divisions in their ranks. Councillors on Kent County Council were seen in the footage first published, led by The Guardian, complaining about backbiting, being ignored by their leader, Lyndon Crosman, who were told to effing suck it up if they did not agree with the decisions made by her. A spokesperson for Nigel Farage's party on Monday morning that 4 councillors on the council, one of whom, when Reform won outright control in local elections this year, has been suspended. So they've suspended them, but I would not be surprised if they suddenly get reinstated down the line when this is no longer news. This is where we'll need Reform UK Party to expose it. Councillors Paul Thomas, Oliver Bradshaw, Bill Mark and Maxine Farrell have had the whip suspended pending investigation following evidence that they brought the party into disrepute, said the spokesperson. The suspension has meant that from winning 57 seats elections in May, Reform Russia has 50 councillors with the whip. 2 other councillors have been suspended while a third joined UKIP. Joined UKIP? What? The chaos on the Reform group is now having a direct impact on Kent constituents in need, warning Anthony Hook, the leader of the Liberal Democrat group on the council. He said a council committee that would have been involved in school transport issues, which was due to take place on Wednesday, has been cancelled as a result of the suspensions. This potentially means that a child or children delayed in getting school transport granted, he said. We learned in the leaked video that they have no respect for each other, let alone respect for the public, and now they're turning on each other. Labour and Tory MPs also seized on the affair to heap criticism on Reform Russia and warned that it was an insight into what Farage's party would look like in power. Ian Joseph, Labour MP for Kent constituency of Ashford, described the affair as an absolute shambles, criticising other recent reform initiatives in the county, including its attempts to roll out a local version of the cost-cutting Doge, launched by Elon Musk in the US, and concerns the party will have to raise council tax to balance its budget. They may not even make it until Christmas. Doge didn't work, council tax is rising, and now they're having to suspend multiple councillors, he said. Louise French, the Tory MP for Bexley and Sidcup, said on X that Reform promises Kent residents the world in May. 6 months later, they are in complete chaos, with residents facing the prospect of even higher bills. A serious warning to the rest of the UK for what Reform in power looks like. The footage of the meeting, which took place in late August, shows Reform councillors complaining about the backbiting being ignored by Kemagran, who told them that they would be screwed and that Reform could forget about winning general election if they did not balance Kent's budget. A source said on Monday that the councillors had been removed with no firm evidence and that it was panic stations at the Reform Russia's grouping on Kent, which Kremlin has described as a showcase for the party's intention of winning power in a general election. They added that a vote of no confidence in Cameron was being radiated for early November, either from opposition or from within Reform Russia. Kemalin told fellow councillors in an email at the weekend that she has launched a hunt for the cows who have leaked the recorded meeting. It's a witch hunt! Find me who leaked that video! Ah, dear, oh dear. So yeah, this is what we are getting, guys. This is what we're going to get when Reform Russia win the general election. Are we excited, guys? Are we excited for the madness that is to come? How excited are we for Reform Russia? Everyone is full of energy today. Indeed. Don't try voting it, says Scott. Good to see you, Scott. If I didn't say hello earlier on. Electrifying, says Jow. Are you guys talking about something else? For security, I spent the day installing an electrified fence around my property. My neighbours are dead against it, said Pete's Music. I'm sure Nigel Farage would like you to put up something similar in the English channel, Pete, as well. My grandpa worked at the Port of Kazes when he was young. What a rosary he knew, says Jow. Comebacks are class chat, says Pete's Music there. Right, we've got about 46 minutes in, so I should take this off while having headphones on. It's not good for my head. It's going to give me a migraine sooner. Let's have a funny video to kind of break the ice a little bit, guys, because we need to cool a bit heads after all that malarkey, because, yeah, it is pretty doom and gloom right now because Reform UK obviously are still... Oh, you're on it. Oh, good. Nigel will be delighted to hear that, Pete. You let me know. You let me know the progress on it tomorrow. Yeah. You give me daily progress on that one. Dear, oh dear. No, Regan, not excited. Just overly concerned that Reform are getting the right legitimacy, whether or not they have the issues. All right, Scott. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. Anyways, so guys, you know AI is really, really good, right? Apparently, you know. AI proves popular with specific groups of people, apparently. So let's check out this video from Michael Spicer here on AI proves popular with specific groups of people. I mean, what could possibly go wrong, guys? What could possibly go wrong?
The latest news from the world of AI. Good evening. Our top story tonight. New research shows AI is now being used by reply guys 89% of the time. According to new data from the Institute of AI Research, sophisticated AI chatbots are being used more and more by those insufferable pricks who disagree with everything you post online and feel you need to know about it. I'm joined now by the chair of the Institute, Robert Manville.
Hello.
Mr. Manville, what does this new data tell us? Well, it proves that reply guys are using advances in technology to continue their pastime of giving you their opinion when you didn't ask for it, sending you links to support their argument, which you will never click on, correcting your grammar, and sending you horrible blurry GIFs as though it's still somehow 2017. And are these AI replies up to the task? Well, the data shows that these chatbots are remarkably accurate when it comes to simulating the style of these boring, pedantic, humorless arseholes. For instance, one of our researchers posted on Instagram that they were enjoying a new thriller on BBC One, and within 30 seconds a chatbot replied, "You are wrong. The premise is weak and the plot is cliched. Try the new thriller on Netflix with Saran Jones. Me and my girlfriend have been hooked since episode 1. Ah, that's a nice reference from the chatbot about having a girlfriend, because as we know, reply guys are either undateable or divorced. That's right, and they'll often mention a fictional girlfriend to imply that they have some kind of meaningful life and aren't just constantly scrolling social media looking for people to disagree with because their total lack of humility, likability and a talent for anything meant their souls left them years ago. Interesting development. Mr. Manville, thank you for joining us. Pleasure. Coming up next, AI has made my life so much easier, says man who can't do basic fucking things like write a shopping list.
Oh dear, that's where we're coming to, guys. You know, unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there who are turning to AI as their best friend now, which is really, really sad when people can't make friends and they just use chat AI bots instead, guys. It's very scary. It's very, very scary indeed. It's Michael Spicer. Their video for the link is in the description. Do check out some of his content if you can, guys. So, keeping with Reform Russia here. So this is from The Independent. Nigel Farage appoints a right-wing anti-abortion theologism, I can't even say that word, as Reform senior advisor. So Professor James Orr is understood to be close to J.D. Vance and influential in Donald Trump's administration with his right-wing views on abortion and immigration. So, unsurprisingly, obviously, one of the things that there are groups out there who want to take away women's rights, and one of the best ways to start with is through abortion. And they're going to look at ways to do that. Now, one of the ways they're going to try and do this is not directly go against anti-abortion. What they're going to do is basically start with the use of free speech, and they will go from there. And they'll start slowly but creeping in anti-abortion rhetoric, bits after bits after bits, slowly putting it into and feeding it into the narrative and minds of people. Not so much they're not going to come out gun ho Reform UK and say we're against abortion, but they will obviously want to go down that path in the same way that Republicans have to take away the rights of women in the UK. That's what Reform Russia want to do, but they can't exactly do this, and they're obviously appointing somebody from the US who have been able to that have worked with the Trump administration to help impose the help with Roe v. Wade, and this is the Reform Russia's way of basically taking away women's rights. Although, if you were to tell women inside Reform that your rights would be taken away when your bodily rights would be taken away by Reform Russia, they would probably ignore you. And they obviously try to use the language as well. It's about Christianity and whatnot. Doesn't really work here in the UK because we're not like that in like it is in America as well. So Reform have been accused of importing divisive and dangerous ideas from MAGA politics in the US, and a right-wing theologian who opposes abortion in all cases joined the party as Nigel Farage's advisor. Cambridge University professor James Orr, who heads the Centre for a Better Britain think tank and is an influential figure in Donald Trump's administration and is admired by Vice President J.D. Vance. His arrival comes soon after the defection from the Tories of right-wing MP Danny Kruger, who holds similar views to Professor Orr. Over the summer, both Professor Orr and Mr. Kruger visited Mr. Vance while he was in the UK ahead of them joining Reform. Professor Orr is also described asylum seekers as invaders in a proactive piece. What a surprise. The move comes after Sir Keir Starmer described Reform's migrant plans as racist and immoral during a Labour Party press conference in September. Labour led condemnations of Reform Russia, accepting Professor Orr into their ranks. A Labour spokesperson has said, Reform's embrace of figures like James Orr tells you everything you need to know about the direction that their party is taking. His opposition to abortion, even in cases of rape, and his description of asylum seekers as invaders are extremely even by the standards of contemporary right-wing politics. Lib Dem Deputy Leader Daisy Cooper has warned that this appointment confirms what we've always known. Reform Russia is just a British franchise of what Donald Trump's MAGA movement. By appointing Orr, Farage is clearly trying to import the same divisive and dangerous ideas that underpin the Trump administration. I mean, it's just absolutely like this is the slow start, guys, towards this is the slow start towards pushing the rhetoric of anti-abortion, of anti-abortion language in the UK. And the first thing they will do is argue about free speech around it. The second thing they will do is then slowly start putting in, they will look for any chips, any digs, anything to get women and people to undermine the abortion in any way, shape or form. And they only need small stories to really start building it up to do that. Oh my God. Steve, thank you. That's really, really generous of you. Thank you so much, thank you so much for the 50 New Zealand dollars. That's extremely generous of you, my friend. Thank you so much. I'm awaiting the arrival of my first grandchild in January, and she'll be a Scottish citizen. Another vote for independence. Oh, Steve, first and foremost, congratulations. Honestly, I'm very happy for you. I really am. Yeah, do keep us updated on the grandchild. Honestly, I'm very, very, first of all, I'm really excited for you. For you, I really do mean that. And another vote for independence, indeed. Yes, it might be a while before he or she will be able to vote, but Yes, another Scottish citizen indeed. But thank you so much for the 50 New Zealand dollars. That's extremely generous, my friend. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support, and honestly, congratulations. I really mean that. There, I'm very happy. I'm very happy for you, my friend. I really am. Yeah, absolutely awesome. I love it. I love that. It's awesome. I appreciate the super chat as well. Thank you. Just a really nice message there. Thank you. Yeah, all dangerous ideas here. So we can all see what is happening in Trump's America, and we cannot stand by and let this become Farage's Britain. Yeah. The Green Party leader, Zach Polanski, has said reform Russia's decision. Well, he said reform UK, but you guys know where I'm going with this. Reform Russia's decision to welcome James Orr as a senior advisor to Nigel Farage is further evidence that Farage is embracing dangerous and diversive right-wing ideology. By choosing someone close to JD Vance to be by his side, someone who describes asylum seekers as invaders, and someone who is anti-abortion, he's signalling that reform Russia have nothing to offer but fuel for diverse inflammatory politics. Orr's reform-linked think tank, the Centre for Better Britain, has embraced Trumpian politicians by cutting state services, reducing NHS funding and blaming migrants. Reform has denied that the party is moving towards an anti-abortion stance. Anyone want to screenshot that? He has understood that his decision to formally join Reform is to help the party bring in elite talent. You call him elite talent, guys. But Professor Orr, who has been behind the National Conservatism Conference, was described as a brilliant academic theory and thinker by Reform's head of policy, Zara Yusuf. Mr. Yusuf announced he's Associate Professor of History at Religion and Cambridge and had joined Reform in a post on social media site X. Senior Reform figure added that he has been a bastion of common sense and patriotism at Cambridge University. He has become a close friend and is someone who I believe will have a pivotal role in shaping the future of this country. And he continued that James is now a senior member of our team, a senior advisor to Nigel Farage, and will bring even more talented patriots to the Reform Russia family. Though not a well-known public figure, Professor Orr has been influential on the philosophy of the Trump administration. Yeah, it's very scary, guys. Like, these kinds of people being appointed into Reform. But again, it's like, you're really, I generally mean, are any of us surprised by this? Are anyone surprised by the kind of people that they're bringing in? Not really, no. But I tell you what, though, I do wonder what some Conservatives feel who have defected from the Conservatives to Reform UK feel about this. Because some of them obviously deep down, because some of the Conservatives will obviously do care about women's rights, do care about abortion rights. Some of them who have switched over to Reform. Excuse me, and they will be concerned by this. They will be concerned by this. That will be something that will be playing into them. I don't know, like, the thing is that sticks out to me the most is anti-abortion, and already that screams like, let's take away women's rights. That's all it screams to me. And it's extremely scary. And we really need people to understand that this is not, that it's not just about immigration when it comes to Reform Russia. This is about taking away your rights as a human being. Like, I generally feel that's the path we're going to be going down if we allow Reform Russia to get into power. Switching gears away from Reform Russia here, guys. Did you know the Chancellor actually said something that made sense? I know, shocking. The Chancellor, yes, the very Chancellor of the Exchequer, who said that she's going to be doing her budget in late November just to piss off the Scots. No, she didn't actually say that, but we know that she's pissing off everyone with her late budget. Anyway, she said this here. The Chancellor says Brexit deal caused long-term damage to the economy. This is a picture of a Chancellor that's, I just realised Brexit's actually not good for us. That's the image that I've got here when I look at this picture from her. Beware preachers who tell you how to vote and politicians who tell you how to pray. Indeed, we Scott Doug. Good to see you there, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Yeah, indeed. So Brexit is causing damage to our economy, guys. Someone in government actually said this. This is groundbreaking, I would say. Does this mean that the Chancellor and Labour government have finally seen the light and that they're going to let us and look to push us to rejoin in the European Union? No, of course not, guys. No, of course they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. And they're not going to say that publicly. But also what this does is obviously this will give the Daily Mail an excuse to rant and rave about how much they hate Labour because they're anti-Brexit. This will give the Daily Express to kick and scream and shout. This will also give Nigel Farage to say, see, they're against Brexit. I told you they're making things up about it. So, yeah. So let's read a bit more into this, guys, just to break down a little bit. So Rachel Reeves has chose to stress the long-term damage done to the UK economy by the 2020 Brexit deal. In her remarks as a key international economic committee at the International Monetary Fund. In remarks published this weekend, the Chancellor told the world's leading finance ministers and central bankers the UK's productivity challenge has been compounded in the way in which the UK left the European Union. Okay, interesting quotations there. She's saying the way in which the UK left the European Union. So, i.e., what she's implying here is that if the Labour government were the ones implementing Brexit, it would not have been as compounding the way we left. It wouldn't have been as bad as what she's trying to imply here. She quoted the Office of Budget Responsibility calculations of a 4% long-term hit relative to remaining in the EU. She said the UK acknowledged this in seeking stronger trade ties. Yes, this is one thing that definitely that the likes of Reform and the Conservatives will pull us away from Europe if they come into power, either one of those political parties. Labour has been reluctant to stress arguments about economic downsides from Brexit. Yeah, of course, because it means that it's an omission if they did so. But the reality is that it's been more than 5 years since we've officially left the European Union. And we are suffering the consequences. We were suffering the consequences before we even officially left the European Union. Excuse me. However, its conference last month, ministers have been increasingly stringent in making such arguments. The Brexit deal announced in 2020 was negotiated by the Conservative government led by Boris Johnson, although Labour agreed a deal to reset relations between the UK and the EU in May this year. Raising the issues from the 2020 Brexit deal in the most high-level global economic policy council, including the G7, China, India, the EU and European Central Bank, would have been unsurprising around the table, but it confirms a noticeable change of emphasis domestically. I think also as well, this opens up the eye of these people saying that, okay, this UK government actually aren't being fickle. They actually understand that that Brexit is actually bad for them, and they're not actually dodging that. They're actually being honest here. And the thing is, if Rachel Reeves wants growth, she needs to be honest to these kinds of people if they want to build trade relations and all that kind of stuff. So you've got to be more honest with them as well. It is expected to become a key part of the government's argument in the run-up to the budget on November the 26th, where large parts of the need for new measures expected to be tax rises will be down to a downgrade to long-term UK productivity. Look, I'm really going to say this, I'm not looking forward to this budget. If I don't hear a removal of the two-child benefit cap, I will scream. I will scream if I don't hear the removal of the two-child benefit cap. Okay, maybe I won't do that on live stream. That'd be too much for you guys. Yes, I will live stream the budget. We know there are going to be tax rises, but what I do not want to hear from this government is said, we have to make some tough decisions, some tough choices. And I don't want to hear that bollocks. What I want to hear is hope and optimism of the future. Something that we've been hearing consistently from the Green Party. Instead of doom and gloom all the goddamn time. People need some optimism, and I do not expect any optimism, apart from maybe the two-child benefit cap, to come from Rachel Reeves and her budget. The OBR will be expected to spell out its details of why any downgrade has occurred when it publishes its forecast of next month's budget. Brexit expected to feature. External economics has pointed to a fall in investment and amid uncertainty after the referendum, as well as in an underperformance on goods trades. Others port to robust trade services and do freedoms to do, trade deals around the world. The issue is a sensitive one right now, with the government deciding on negotiating positions from the Brexit reset. including scrapping the most Brexit checks on food and farm trade, helping UK manufacturers join Concilia in a bid to Europe's surging defence budget. European ministers urge maximum ambitions in the talks to help mitigate the impact of trade wars elsewhere in the world. Reeves announced tax rises worth £40 billion a year in her first budget last November, including hikes to payroll taxes paid by employers, and insisted she would not have to repeat the move in subsequent years. But the Chancellor is now facing the prospect of another repair job to the public finances. Yeah, because a magical black hole appeared. The Conservatives opened up a clear dividing line on the issue at their conference, pledging to slash public spending by £47 billion a year if they win at the next election, through cuts to welfare, civil servants and foreign aid. Oh my God. Cutting taxes does not work. The Conservatives and Reform just want to cut. They just want to slash everything. Literally, they want everything run by the private sector. I quite like realism over optimism. Realism pays the bills, says person impersonator. What if I said optimism, but with realistic? What about optimism with realistic policies that could make your lives better? Vote Green. How about that instead? The solution to tax the upper class and end privilege of royals and politicians and decrease the taxes on the middle and low class, but they will never do it. No, they will not. They will not, unfortunately. What did Kirsty say there? Hope and optimism for an independent Scotland. Indeed. Yeah, keep that hope and optimism for independent Scotland. Yeah, you need that. You know, you've got very important elections coming up and need to make those votes count. So that's why, for those in Scotland, you really should vote SNP if you can. Vote SNP. For the best case scenario for you guys. So, got one last story for you guys before we come to. I do have one more funny video to see ourselves out, but before we do, we've got one last story for you guys here. Let me make sure this one is set here. So, you know, obviously, like this Labour government says that eventually that they will, you know, bring our bills down. They're going to bring bills down, guys. Things are going to get better. They're going to get better, aren't they? Right, even those in universities, guys, you know, are tuition fees. We're going to be able to cope with it, right? Oh, thanks, Stephen Baker. No worries, appreciate it. So yeah, tuition fees are to rise to almost £10,000, guys, and face inflation hikes every year. This is from the iPaper. Tuition fee caps for undergraduate students will increase in line with inflation from 2026. Meaning current students will be affected from next year. Yep. So, you know, a big smile on her face from the Education Secretary. Obviously, it will definitely make students feel a lot more happier and content being in our universities, where some of them who, you know, it's already tough enough, yeah, for British students already. But no, we're going to make it more difficult. And those who come abroad as well to the UK, we're going to make it even more difficult as well. You know, let's just make life more worse, you know. Now, Brexit is in part a problem for this as well, because obviously before Brexit, it was very easy for a lot of European students to come to our universities, to our colleges, and they would spend a lot of money. They would spend a lot of money to do so. But obviously, since Brexit, not as many is coming over because it's a lot more work for them to do so. And while there have been some non-EU students taking up those spots, it's not as many because not all of them are not a lot of non-EU countries are having that many wealthy youngsters who are willing to come to the UK and use our universities and that. And so when some of these universities are really struggling to pay their own bills, I think that plays a factor into this decision as well. So university tuition fees are set to rise with inflation from next year, taking fees to almost £10,000, the Education Secretary has announced. So Bridget Phillipson said this will apply for the next 2 years, with new legislation drawn up automatically increasing fees every year thereafter. Phillipson's plans was first revealed by the iPaper in August. Universities in England can currently charge £9,535, meaning a hike in line with current inflation will likely push the fees up by just under £400. The immediate increase from 2026 means the current undergraduate students in their first or second year will be affected. Changes only affect England's universities as education is devolved, with Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland settling their own policies. In a statement to the House of Commons ahead of the release of post-16 Education and Skills White Paper, Phillipson said the government will legislate when Parliament time allows to increase tuition fee caps automatically in the future, linked to quality. Linked to quality. Quote, we will not allow institutions who don't take quality seriously to make their students pay more. Charging full fees will be conditional on high quality teaching, balancing stability for universities with fairness for students and for taxpayers, Phillipson said. Quote, so within this white paper is a challenge to our universities to build on what makes them great, to drive up success, to drive up low quality provision, to improve collaboration and push forward intervention to deliver the research breakthrough that will revitalise our economy and to feed that energy back into our local communities. Domestic university fees will increase in line with inflation to £9,535, starting from this academic year after being frozen since 2017. Maintenance loans will also increase in line with inflation. White paper also includes the announcement of new vocational qualifications called the V levels, which will be introduced to sit alongside A and T levels, replacing other qualifications. The new vocational qualifications has been welcomed by several schools and college unions, but Sixth Form College Association said they will not fill the gap left by the range of applied general qualifications, which includes BTEG. The government has also announced a new English and Maths qualification. Maths? Is this a Sunak thing? Targeted students with lower attainments and will act as a stepping stone to better prepare them to resit their GCSEs in these subjects. The current reset rule, which requires students who do not achieve a grade 4 in GCSE English and Maths to reset post-16, is regularly criticised by sector leaders. Phillipson announced at a Labour conference in September that maintenance grants will be reintroduced for students on course deemed to support the industrial strategy funded by new levy on international students. I just want it to be easier for our students, and I feel like I'm just not sure about all this. Initial reports when a levy was first proposed in the immigration white paper suggested it would be 6%. An analysis by a police constable be a public first suggested a 6% levy could lead to a loss of 77,000 international students in the first 5 years, and 2.2 billion lost over that time in international fee incomes. Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced in his conference speech that the government would replace the target of 50% to go into universities with a target of 2/3 to be in higher education, further education or gold standard apprenticeship by age 25. In a statement on Monday, Phillipson said to compete in this changing world, we need a nurture a much broader range of talent. And so, as the Prime Minister has announced, we have a new ambition, no longer than just half. The government says it will invest nearly £800 million from its spending review settlement into supporting 16 and 19-year-olds next year, and will open 14 new technical excellent colleges. She added she wants to see universities working with colleges to deliver more Level 4 and Level 5 qualifications. Phillipson added that the government will introduce new guarantees for any 16 or 17-year-olds not in education or training to automatically get a place at a local provider. That sounds good. That sounds good on the face of it there. Universities across the UK are facing financial challenges, many having to announce redundancies at cost-cutting measures. More than 2 in 5 forecast a deficit for 2024-25 in data release in May. This sounds good here, obviously, getting not in education or training to automatically get a place. I do like that, though. Education is a really important foundation of... it's a really important foundation. And Jal says it's expensive to travel to the UK. It starts with €40 for the passport. You can get a flight to Poland or anywhere in continental Europe or Ireland for around €25. That's just the flying over, isn't it? I think it's about 50 or 60 euros to Cyprus as well there. Yeah, the money adds up for people coming from the EUM. So bad for students to get their degrees and start working in life with a huge debt. This is one of the things I absolutely despise about our English universities. It's not right that if you want our students to succeed and be successful in life, that they have to start with a debt in order to do that. Like, I would have, like, here's the thing, right? I generally would have considered going through college and university if I wouldn't have to pay for a debt. Because that would just terrify me. Like, one thing I don't want to live with is a debt hanging over me. I don't think it's right that anyone should have to live with a debt over them, because all it does is lead to unnecessary stress on their lives. It's not right that any students should have that. The state, yeah, should the state be paying for it? Absolutely. It should all come out of state state. It should be coming from the government. The government should be paying for it. Does some money get wasted? Absolutely, money gets wasted all the time. But if you generally want our students, our next generation of children, to be the best and the brightest, getting rid of that should be really helpful. I got a grant, says Doc David. A lot of Portuguese students used to get their master's degree in the UK, not now. Yeah, Brexit changed that. Person said, we cannot persuade the masses when there is a fox in the penthouse. He says. First time I went to Poland, it was £27, and London was £111. Poland is definitely a country I'd like to visit. Just going off topic there. So, guys, we have one last video to see ourselves out. I hope you found today's show interesting, but don't worry. We need look, we are on the road to Halloween, guys. So, of course, I wanted to get a bit of a Halloween one here. Garen, there'll probably be. I wonder if Daily Blase will do a Halloween themed Friday Frolics or something like that. I don't know if he can or not, but might be worth looking into. But Garen here decided to try some weird American Halloween snacks. Yes, Halloween snacks, American Halloween snacks here. So let's have a listen to see how some of these went for Garen here. Some of these snacks. I have no idea what they are, what they taste like, or anything like that. But let's just hear him out, guys. What could possibly go wrong here?
Okay, don't be worried, but I've got a box of American Halloween snacks. I've ordered these from America. These videos are getting very high budget. So first up, I've got pumpkin pie M&Ms. I've never had a pumpkin pie, and I don't fucking want one, to be honest with you. My expectation is that I'm going to think these are shite. As you can see here, they have an autumnal colour scheme. Very adorable. Let's have a go at them. Oh, I fucking hate them. They're fucking horrific. It tastes like an M&M somebody's picked out of their dirty shoe. I've never had pumpkin pie, but if that's what it fucking tastes like, it's not a dessert. 1 out of 10. Okay, this is a Breaking Bones Kit Kat. I think it's just vanilla. There's a happy little skeleton fella on it. I don't know what he's so happy about. So, it smells like paint remover, but sort of sugary. Let's go. That's okay. Sort of objectively worse than any other Kit Kat I've had, but it's okay. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10, because I'd rather have a Kit Kat. That's right, buckle up. We're just getting started with the Kit Kats. This is Ghost Toast. What's this? Toast flavour. It's a cinnamon toast creme, and naturally and artificially flavoured. You might as well just go all in with the artificial flavours. Don't be bothering with that natural shite. This one is a very strange colour. Sort of looks like it could be a vitamin C suppository. Smells cinnamony. Let's go. That one's actually fucking quite nice. Must be the artificial, is it? I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Worse than a Kit Kat, but better than the other one. Next, we have a Witch's Brew Kit Kat. This will conclude the Kit Kats for today. This is a marshmallow flavour creme. This one is green. Pretty much the most awful shade of green you could possibly come up with. Let's have a go. This is a strange one. This one is certainly the worst. I can only describe the flavour as worryingly adventurous. It sort of tastes like it was meant to taste like the vanilla one, but it's been left too long and now it tastes a different way. I also got this Reese's Oreo. This I don't think has anything got to do with Halloween, but I've seen it and, you know, there was no way I wasn't going to order it. I feel like I've tasted enough naturally and artificially flavoured items today, so I'll try these in another video and I'll just give it a bit of a rest now. Hopefully this was helpful. Follow me. I'm delicious.
I'm sure it was very helpful to our audience members here. Oh God, there are like, you know what they tend to do, like, you know, Halloween obviously is a great opportunity for businesses to make some money off people, and they always do like to do a lot of Halloween themed sweets, Halloween themed sort of thing to really try and you know, if they slap like skeletons and spooky names and all that kind of stuff to try and get more money out of people in doing so. It's obviously much more bigger in America than it is here, but we do celebrate Halloween to a certain extent here, to be fair, as well, but not as insane as it is in America when it comes to it. But Yeah, some interesting sweets there, to say the least. There were definitely some interesting ones there. American candy is horrendous, especially the puking chocolate. I tasted it, says Jal. Reminded me not to eat. Reminded me not to eat American candy. There's still American candy shops in central London. There are still those shops. And I don't know why they still haven't been gotten rid of, but they are still there in central London. Some of them. We Scott Dog said Brexit is making it hard for foreign students to come to the UK. It's a great example of the Brexit own goal. Fees from overseas helped to subsidise UK students. Exactly, it did. Thank you for that comment, Doug. It's really very important point there. University here is not that expensive, but associated costs like housing are. But people with low incomes do not pay fees. Says Jal there in Portugal, and most of the senior politicians got their university's fees. Says Kirsty as well. None of the danger of the bobbing apple. The bobbing apple, indeed. Right, guys, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who come along. Thank you guys for all your comments. Didn't reach today's super chat goal today, unfortunately, but very generously, Steve Moran has gifted an incredibly generous 50 New Zealand dollars today, which was very, very generous of him to do so. And again, congratulations, my friend, on becoming a grandfather. Is that the right? I hope I've got the family. I hope it's right. Grandfather, isn't it? I hope I didn't screw that one up. But thank you for that, and for that very, very generous super chat. I really appreciate it. But thank you guys all for coming along. Thank you guys for all your comments and contributing to tonight's show. I hope you did find it informative or helpful in some way, shape, or form. Helpful to you. Because I do want to think that after these live streams, you actually get something from them. So that's the most important thing here. I will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. for another Good Morning show. A reminder that this Thursday at 8 p.m, myself, Power to the People, Graham Price, Daily Blase, and one more guest will be joining us for the Thursday roundtable. So do join us for that if you can as well. Obviously, have a great week, whatever you guys are doing. Stay warm as always, because it is a bit chilly out there as well. And keep your eyes out. There'll be plenty of... I'll be dropping a few polls for the next couple of days as well. Some interesting polls I'm going to be posting scheduled for the week, as well as, of course, Dolly and Jasper on the members post as well. So you'll get them as well coming up as well. But just before we head out, guys, if you can for me, please hit that like button. It'd be greatly appreciated. And share this across social media so others are notified of this live stream. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing as well. I'd like to get to 2,500 subscribers before the end of the year. We're not too far off it, but if you're not a subscriber and you do like and find the content interesting, informative, helpful to you, consider subscribing to help me get to that goal. And if you want to find and support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p as well. And do consider checking out Rumble and Patreon. Links for them are in the description as well. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.